Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Rockwood Academy. Happy New Year. I hope you all enjoyed your vacation, time off, family time, whatever you got up to over the last few weeks. My name is David Flanagan. I'm the host here, and this is an episode of Rockwood Live. Rockwood Live is a show where we take a look at the latest and greatest open source tools within the cloud native and adjacent spaces. And today we are doing a bit of a follow-up where we previously took a look at Gitea, an open source alternative to using GitHub, GitLab, etc. And today we're going to see what's new and take a look at Gitea Actions. Same as last time, we're going to be joined by Matty from the Gitea team. Hey man, how's it going?
Hey, it's going well, thanks. So just a brief rundown on me. Not much has changed last time. I'm still a project lead of Gitea. We just celebrated our 8th year birthday just in November. Or, sorry, we're going into our 8th year starting in November, so I think it's 7th birthday, how that works. 2016 was when we started. Yeah, so lots of exciting new developments with Gitea since last time we chatted. In 2022, we launched the alpha of Gitea Actions, the built-in CI/CD solution, and with this latest major release this past fall, it's now fully released and everyone can use it. It's compatible with GitHub Actions, and I'm excited to be here to talk with you about it and walk through getting it set up and using it.
Awesome. So it's been about a year and you've covered most of the things that have changed, which is cool. But I'm curious about, new features are amazing. Like we love open source and new features that get involved and contributing, right? But you're now starting, I've seen Gitea Cloud is emerging. There's now the company coming up behind it to support that open source contribution. Maybe you want to share a little bit about more of that and how that's all gone as well.
Yeah, definitely. CommitGo was founded by some of the members of the oversight committee, and as a way of being able to support the project itself. And so we've been able to, in 2022, we were doing about 100 pull requests, merged, reviewed, etc. a month. And after the founding of the company, we went up to 400 a month. Lots of refactoring to ensure it's stable, lots of new features, lots of bug fixes, a lot more new maintainers, community contributors. We just hit 40,000 stars on GitHub, and so it's been very exciting. And Gitea Cloud is a way of letting people most familiar with Gitea being able to run your instance for you and being able to support the project back through that. So even through building it out, there's features that we needed, bug fixes that we've been able to, from dogfooding your project, being able to put it back in. And so, it's all very exciting.
Yeah, I was actually exploring a new home for the Rockwood Academy source, and I think Gitea's pretty much where I'm going to end up. And one of the things that swayed me, and it's so superficial, and I feel ashamed of myself, right? But it wasn't any of the amazing features. It was the design of the exclusive labels. I just think it's such a nice touch, because I like to do semantic labeling on GitHub and GitLab and everywhere else, and it always looks really janky because I have colons or slashes, and the way that it works on Gitea, it's just, I want that, and that was the secret feature. So,
that's good to hear. That was contributed from the Blender Foundation, the 3D open modeling software, and because we supported them through their migration from Fabricator to Gitea.
Nice.
And so they contributed stuff, and we did stuff for the project for them as well. And so, that was Brecht specifically from the Blender Foundation who contributed that, as well as many other things as well. So we're very thankful for them, the community, and
Yeah, it's just those those subtle touches and attentions to detail that just make it more pleasant. And I like the responsiveness of all the issues and people contributing as well. It gives me confidence when I'm adopting something. So yeah, I mean, I'm not here just to sit and sing the praises of the project.
No,
But I'll just say I was very, very happy and very impressed when I was looking at it just literally 2 months ago. So anyway, let's get back on track.
oh no, definitely.
All right, let's just do a quick. I know you didn't say here's some of the new stuff, but is there anything in a like? It's been 15, 16 months, I think, since we did our stream together. So what's happened in that time? Anything you want to talk about besides actions? We will get to.
Oh, definitely.
Anything?
Yeah, actually, I think one of the things that launched just after our last live stream was we introduced Gitea packages where we're now supporting like 20 different types of packages: Docker images, Helm charts, Ruby gems, Rust cargo, Python PyPy, Alpine, Debian debs, RPMs, and like a whole bunch more. So being able to store your artifacts inside the application and link it to your source control and releases if need be. So that's very exciting, and that's definitely ties in with actions, because you can use actions to build your Docker container and push it just into your instance as well, and keep it all self-contained. Have that data ownership, data sovereignty over your own stuff, so you can ensure it doesn't go away.
Awesome. Yeah, I actually was, again, I feel like I'm just saying nice things because you're on the stream, but honestly, I was exploring and playing with this just like 2 months ago. And the packaged stuff is what I was looking at, because I have a mono repository with dozens of services in it. It's going to be hundreds of services eventually. They all have their own container image, and the registry was a big part of like what was interesting there as well. But I did notice, and I have opened an issue for this, I'm not going to just rant at you as someone who's on my stream, right? But GitHub and GitLab also have this problem where when you have a mono repository, the releases always assume it's like a single artifact, and although they can have names, it's very difficult to browse and navigate and segment that page. And I'd love to try and raise the priority of that issue and fix it live right now. We're not looking at actions. Let's yeah. So that's just my own little wish list. But awesome. The package stuff is very, very cool. Right. Anything else besides that you want to cover?
No. Let's see. Yeah, packages, actions. We did project boards last time we were here. I think that was already in. Yeah, it's very. Let's just dive right in.
Well, I'm going to ask you a slightly controversial question, not to put you against the wall or anything like that, right? But the trend so far, from what I see with what we've discussed on the stream and what I see on the project, is Gitea is adopting and implementing a lot of things that provide a backwards compatibility there for people maybe coming from GitHub. And as we're going to see with actions, right, you talked about how it's compatible with that. How do you, as a TOC, decide when it's better to just support people coming in versus innovation? Like, or can you do both? Like, I wonder how those conversations work.
Yeah, no, that's definitely something. And in fact, with actions, we did deviate just ever so slightly from the GitHub standards, not to make a breaking change, but just to add upon it. With GitHub Actions, it's very tied into the GitHub ecosystem. It's user/repo at git tag, and that's your actions. But because we wanted to be able to have actions hosted elsewhere, we actually introduced a new URL schema for being able to define your actions elsewhere. So instead of GitHub username, GitHub repo, git tag, you can actually pass in a full URL of a Git repo elsewhere. So if you want to use an actions hosted on Gitea.com, Gitea.com/user/repo, but we keep it backwards compatible with GitHub. So if you do have that username/repo format, it will fetch it from GitHub directly.
Awesome. All right, I look forward to seeing that as we explore actions as we move into the hands-on component. What I'll say for the people watching, if you do have any questions, please drop them into the comment section. Matty and I would be happy to chat about them and hopefully get you some answers at the same time too. All right, Matty, are you ready to get a terminal and start playing with some stuff?
Yeah.
Fingers crossed. I'm sure you're
Yeah.
confident it's going to work, right? Come on. All right, where's my screen share? Disappeared. Oh, I'm not sharing my screen. That's the problem. All right. I swear I've done this before. Right, then pop back here for a second. I made the terrible mistake of trying out Microsoft Edge, and now I need to give it the permission to share my screen.
Yeah, and sometimes you need to restart the browser and
Yeah, usually I'm quite good at tricking it. I don't want to count my chickens as I am, but normally I can just say sure later and then do the thing anyway, and it lets me away with it. Let's see. No. What happens if I leave the stream? Shall we find out?
yeah. I think because it's YouTube, they'll keep it open so you can rejoin. People may need to refresh.
All
The
right.
worst case.
Right. Fingers crossed. I will see you in 10 seconds or quicker.
All right, if you're in chat, just make sure to say something to show that we're still going. All right.
All
All
right.
good.
Yeah. That was painless. It just said this show is already live. Do you want to join? And I was like, yes, please. I don't want to leave him hanging for too long. 'Cause, I don't know. I'm sure you were telling some awesome jokes. It's all good. All right. So if we pop over here, I have a terminal. Let me reopen that tab that I had too. And we have the Gitea website. So, as always on Rockwood Live, we're going to do our best to use the documentation. That means that anything that we do, you can follow along at home in your own time. And if we run any problems, then fear not. We have someone on the call who's going to fix everything live for us. No pressure, Matty. But let's go. I take it we're just going straight to documentation.
Yep.
All right. Now, I haven't looked at the action stuff in advance, but I'll use the nice search bar, and here we go. So, I'm assuming this is going to be relatively straightforward because of, I'm assuming I definitely have experience with GitHub Actions. I'm assuming the people watching it probably have some exposure or experience there too, and it should be plain sailing. I know that's a brave word to throw out there at the start of the stream, right? But what I'm curious about now is we could take a project that doesn't have any sort of pipelines and start to build stuff together. But based on what you've told me, I'm assuming I could take any project that has a working pipeline just now and it should work out the box, right?
Mostly. That's why I say mostly GitHub Actions compatible. There are some type of actions, the composite actions in GitHub that aren't supported yet. Whereas bundling of a bunch of different type of actions into one. But we could start off with a blank project and then move on to being able to do an existing one.
Okay. So I'll ask one question and then we'll just do like a cargo new or something and get a simple Rust project on the go. But can I run Gitea Actions locally? I know that's one of the main frustrations, right? When people are like, I mean, I've done this myself. You push 14 times to the main branch, just like fix CI, fix CI, fix CI, and it's all because we don't have that ability just to run the damn thing locally. Is that something that Gitea Actions has cloned, or have you fixed that?
So actually, Gitea Actions is based. Our engine is a fork of a project called Necto/Act, where it was exactly that problem that trying to solve of like debugging, updating your actions without having to push all the time. And one of our maintainers is actually a maintainer over there, and there's lots of contributions between the two projects. And I was actually talking with one of the folks over at Dagger recently, and one of the employees over at Dagger actually have a similar project that I'm completely blanking on the name, but it's a similar thing, and I believe they're also using it in Dagger to be able to support some of their CI stuff. So your pain point has been solved for GitHub as well, but you can use the CI this act runner binary to run it your workflows locally, as well as it's the same binary to run your workflows locally as on a server.
All right, cool. Yeah, you're right. The Dagger team do have a code name for a project that runs those pipelines, but I can't remember what the name of it is either. Yeah. And I'm going to clarify this again, and I think we did this on the first stream. I keep saying Gitea, and I think you're saying Gitea. Right? Am I wrong? Is it Gitea or just?
I say Gitea. Other members of the team say it differently. Pretty much everyone I talk to says it differently. It's
I'm pretty sure you could run a live stream where all you do is pick up random projects and talk about the naming, because everybody seems to get this stuff wildly different. So, anyway, not that important. All right, so we're going to create a new project. We're going to build out a Gitea pipeline, and I'm just going to do cargo new. Unless, do you have a preferred runtime or language that you want to use for this demo?
generally like we do everything in Go, so that's what I'd be most familiar with. But for extra challenges, we could do Rust. I'm not familiar with the GitHub Actions for Rust, which is what we'd likely use.
No problem. I can do Go. Well, I can write enough Go or remember enough Go that I can do Hello World at least anyway. So. Main. Oh, main.ho. I was trying to work out why I wasn't getting syntax highlighting. I was like, have I forgotten Go? All right. Oh, I have forgotten.
And your package definition as well.
Ah, yeah, package page. Thank you. Yeah, that's why I couldn't import. Okay, thank you. So let's just check. If we do go run main, we should get hello world. Nice and simple. All right. So I'm a Go developer. I've written $1 million program. I want to put together some sort of pipeline to start shipping, let's just say a container image. What's my first step then with Gitea Actions?
First step is we assume you have a Gitea instance set up already, and I saw that you signed up for Gitea.com within the past week. So we can push the repos there, and you can hook up your runner to your user over there as well.
Okay.
I believe this is just an overview, and we can pop over to quick start. Fingers crossed that's where our documentation is. So it's already enabled on the instance. Here we go.
Okay, so the first thing I need to do is just make sure I have access to Act then.
Yeah, so there's you can download the binary from the release page. There's also the Docker image, which does make it you do need to do some stuff to expose the Docker socket if you're running the runner inside of Docker for Docker and Docker. The binary might be easiest because it's just download that executable and run it.
All right, well, I'm going to try something slightly different. Just because I've been playing, have you heard of Package X?
I haven't. No. Have you done a live stream on that yet?
No, I should reach out. So well, you might have heard of it as T, but they renamed it because I think people were getting a bit confused with the blockchain T protocol stuff. And I guess it was like T as well. But it's essentially a successor to Homebrew by the original author of Homebrew.
Oh, exciting.
And yeah, if I can remember what the first line in this file is, you just need a list of packages. So I can just do this, and it will give me Act. And I think it's just dependencies. And from here, if we run dev, it resolves the graph. And now we have act. Ta-da!
Yeah, that's pretty neat.
Yeah,
So
it
that's
is pretty cool.
act, but we'll need the act runner. So
You have to throw that in the works. I didn't know we needed something else.
that's all right. It's just a different URL, but it's pretty much the same.
Package X has something called a pantry, and if it doesn't exist on that, it doesn't exist. So I guess we're going to have to go the other route then. So that was a nice idea while it ran. I'm just going to go to the download page. Let's keep it simple. All right. This looks like the latest. And we want ARM64.
Mm-hmm.
And what I'll do is just move it from downloads to act runner, chmod plus x, and sudo move. What is it on that M1 Mac? Opt, homebrew, bin. Of course. Allow. Okay, we have act and act runner. Any other
Awesome.
prerequisites? I can jump back over to the docs if there's a list.
Just Docker and the binary.
Okay, then I think
So we're good to go.
sweet.
So now we can run that command.
Okay, so we need an instance and a token, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so just use gitea.com.
Yeah. And you can pop over to your user settings, and there are scopes on the runners, so you can either scope your runner to a repo, to an organization, or if you control the instance entirely, you can scope it to the entire instance.
Yeah, I haven't imported any of my things yet, so let's just create a new repository. We'll call this Go Hello World, and then go. There we go. Get init, get remote, add origin. Oh wait, it does that. Okay, get branch, main, and get add, and commit. Horrible commit message. Don't judge me. And push origin. I've not added my key.
Oh, you added your origin as the HTTP endpoint, so you'll have to swap your origin to the SSH one.
Get config. Get act and then change that.
There you go.
All right, we're in business. So now, if we come to our repositories, we have our $1 million application. Perfect. So now is where we want to register a runner, which is just going to be a local runner on my machine, right?
Yeah.
So this instance, is this just gitea.com?
Yeah, HTTPS gitea.com.
All right. And the token, I'm assuming I'm going to have to create some sort of access token.
Yeah.
Prepare.
And so it's this is going to be exposed to the world. It's fine because they rotate once they're used. And yeah, you can't see the entirety of it right now. And once you use it, can't be used again. So there we go.
So every time you use a registration token, it gets rotated?
Yes. Yeah.
Ah, nice. Very cool.
So these are all one-time use. There is a capability to reuse them if you change some settings, but by default, one-time use only.
Awesome. All right. Well, it looks like we potentially have a runner. So let's jump back to our quick start guide. So we did this. In fact, can I now not visualize it, but see it as a registered runner?
Refresh this page, you'll see it there.
Okay, nice.
So it's been registered, and the next step is to start the daemon, and that should be in the documentation as well.
Okay. Before we do that, I'll ask you a quick question. This is for me to run and host my own runners. Is there a plan for the Gitea project to provide any sort of shared runners, or do you just want people to go run their own?
Yeah, so with Gitea Cloud, you can purchase minutes, but due to like crypto mining and such, we can't just offer much for free.
Man, those crypto miners ruin everything. They jack up the prices of GPUs. Now AI's doing that too, and now we don't even get free build minutes. Okay. All right, so let's go back. Pop down, and we're going to run this daemon. Now,
There you go.
I'm not familiar with the Act project. I only know what basically you've told me at the start of this session. I'm assuming this is just going to manage and run a whole bunch of containers on my machine for each of the pipeline steps within the workflow file. Is that close enough?
That's exactly it, yeah. Right. And so this will run in the foreground. Based on configuration, you can change it, but for now, run it in foreground. There's some documentation on running it with systemd and other such ways, but...
Okay, we'll just split that in half, and we're good to go. So I'm assuming now we just write our workflow file.
That's exactly it.
All right. So, do you support .github just to make the migration for people easier, or do you expect them to rename the directory?
I believe we support .github, but I can't remember off the top of my head.
All right. See, one of my biggest complaints about GitHub Actions, again, it's just such a mono repo thing, and I always feel like a niche person when I talk about it, but there has to be more people doing mono repos, right? But they expect all of these build definitions to live at the root of my repository, and I actually want my build definition to live next to each service. If you want to make it so that I can have a .Gitea workflows everywhere in my repository, I'd be a very happy person. But not for today. I'm just going to copy this one just now, and we can tweak as required. Okay. So we give it a name, some sort of run name. I don't know. I haven't seen that before in GitHub Actions. I don't know what that does. We tell it to run on push, and then it has a job. The job has a name. We're just saying run on Ubuntu, and then do all the things. I'm going to add one more job then, which is we'll call go build. And this runs on, this could be any container image, right?
So what it does is the runs on is like a label for the runner itself.
Okay.
And as in chat that just popped up, it's actually not Ubuntu. Where by default the Act project defines the default image to be the Node 18 Docker image, which is based on Debian. So using Ubuntu is a bit of a misnomer. And in GitHub Actions, I believe it's the runs on wouldn't be where you put the image. It's in the container key, I believe.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So this would be a runs on where we then add steps, and this is where we'd have uses go blah blah blah.
Yeah. Setup action / setup go.
And we'll need to check out actually. So let's just copy that from we'd have a container with everything we need, and we could just say go run main.go. That seem okay?
Yep.
All right. So I'm assuming I'm just pushing this because we have a runner running, which is registered with Gitea.com. So provided we do a commit feature new CI system, awesome. We can do a push. Let's pop back over here. And if we go to raw code, we have one action.
Hey.
Hey, it's running. Nice. So if we pop to my machine, yeah, we're starting. All right, there we go. There's all the log outputs from our new CI. And go build. Oh, we got a fail on the go build.
Oh, let's see what happened.
Input string was not in the correct format. Actions set up go. Oh, did I need a version?
Oh, yeah, possibly. I think it's V4 might be the latest, because GitHub Actions recently bumped everything to use Node 20 as their base. And so that's the difference between V3 and V4.
Ah, well, nobody's build passes the first time. So I'll give that just a moment. That was pretty fast, that first one there. I mean, I know it's only doing echoes, but 5 seconds was fast. And I guess
so
it's already pulled the images now, right? It's cached locally.
Yeah, so we'll cache the actions locally. I guess you need to define a specific version.
5.
Mm.
Oh no, before. Oh, okay, it might require the, yeah, okay. Is that what you were just saying and I wasn't listening?
That might be, yeah, they might require it.
With go 121. Okay, so I mean we're already doing that thing that I said I hate, right? Like fix CI.
Yeah.
Can I test this locally first?
Yeah.
Right.
So because you have the act runner binary locally, you can run act_runner space exec, and it will, and you just enter, and then it's running it right now. So it's fetching the Go binary in the setup Go step right now. It fetched it. And if you scroll up a sec, there should be the hello world, yep.
All right, so let's break it. Because I had it broken, so I'm going to say it broken. All right, perfect. Okay. Nice. And we'll fix that back up. And random question, but it's something I use a lot, is the be able to click the button to execute it on a UI. I can't remember what it's called, but it's push or it's like something else. Can I do that?
Yeah, on workflow, I believe. That's not supported yet. There's a
on dispatch or something.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. There's a pull request in progress for that right now.
Awesome.
But we recently launched. So, in addition to going fully stable with this latest major release, We also support scheduled actions, so cron as well. So that was one of the compatibility things with GitHub Actions that we added as well.
Oh, very cool. So I could just set up a cron run to run every night at 3 a.m. or whatever and push out images.
Exactly. And same with GitHub Actions, you can do on pull requests, so it will only run on a pull request or push to a specific branch, on tag. So if you tag something, you can have go release or go build your project and actually upload the artifacts wherever you wish.
All right. Nice. I mean, it seems to be the quick demo we've done pretty much on a par with what we would expect from GitHub Actions. How far into the Gitea subsystem does this go? And by that I mean, like, if I do have external contributors and pull requests, and I want to have like blocking merge until passing, is this something in motion? Is this something that already exists? Like, where are we with that kind of integration?
Yeah, so Gitea already has like branch protection for pull requests, so ensure that like certain statuses pass, and that's for external integrations, external CI, or like if you have like Jira or something, you need to hook up like some sign up in Jira and send over a webhook somewhere, you can do that. But then in the branch protection as well, GitHub Actions come in as statuses as well. So you can say it requires these specific statuses to pass before you can even click the merge button. And that would be under branch protection, yeah. And you can whitelist who is able to merge based on like a team or a user group or a specific user, the number of approvals, so not just status checks, but also like number of approvals from a specific team. So
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm liking what I'm seeing. It's very familiar. The Ubuntu's not Ubuntu. That's going to be the one takeaway thing that I remember for the next 12 months. Like, when you come back to me and say, I remember that Streamability, I remember Ubuntu's not Ubuntu. But,
yeah. So you can actually change it to the Ubuntu image if you wish. We skipped a few steps when registering your runner. If you scroll back in your terminal, you'll see that it says it registered with certain labels of Ubuntu latest, Ubuntu 20, Ubuntu 18, I believe. Where are we? And here we go, yeah. So you're running with the certain labels a couple lines down from where your cursor is right now, under act run daemon at the top there, the longest line. There we go, yeah. Up. Yeah,
oh, yeah,
so
we're running
you'll see the several labels defined above, and then those actually do alias to that specific Docker image. But you can also, you don't need to run inside of Docker. You'd not necessarily use this for if you're accepting like open contributions, because then people can run code as the runner on whichever machine you use. Right now, that's the only way to run, like if you're building an iOS application or whatnot, if you want to run like Xcode, compile and stuff, you would have to have the host mode, so it wouldn't be isolated inside of a container, so people could potentially browse your file system. But again, that's not for untrusted environments. And you can change the labels you want, you can change the default images. Yeah, and in fact for the Gitea project, we actually use one of the Act contributors has built an image, a Docker image that's quite hefty, but it's very comparable to the virtual machine that GitHub runners have access to. So all of the tools that are installed there would be available to you, because this Docker image doesn't have things like JQ. It's literally just the node Docker image. And that's one of the ways that existing actions might fail, is they might assume that a tool is available that isn't necessarily available in the image that you're running with.
All right, nice. Is there anything else from the action stuff that we haven't covered yet that you want me to go peek into?
No, I think that was a great example of I think showing pulling an image like uses action/setup go. That's pulling from github.com. Yeah.
Well, what's
So
the syntax if we were going to use the new thing, right?
yeah, so it'd be, instead of just actions/checkout, it'd be https://gitea.com/actions/checkout, and then at v3. Yeah, and this works because we have the code mirrored from github.com. So if you're pulling from gitea.com for this specific action, it's what you'd expect.
And does this work for any arbitrary, like Gitea
It-
instance?
Yeah, so if you want to,
If I had like code.rocko.academy, like something like that,
Yeah.
that would just work out the box, right?
works out of the box with a little asterisk of you potentially may need to set up authentication if it's like a private repository, whatnot. GitHub Actions, Gitea Actions handles a lot of that out of the box. When you're cloning, it creates a temporary access key to be able to pull the repository. But for like actions, you also need to define saying, hey, this is a protected repository. You'll need to like be aware of that.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
That's a cool little feature, especially as we try and encourage people, right, to have their Git hosting a little bit more decentralized than it is at the moment. I like that approach. All right, let me pop us back over. We can always go back to the demo if we think of something else that we want to show there, but I want to kind of chat about what was covered already.
Yeah, definitely.
So I think the familiarity aspect of it, the fact that people don't really need to change anything when they're coming from GitHub, is just that's the way it probably should be, right? You want to make it the path of least resistance, otherwise developers are lazy. We're not going to do that, and I like that. But you're also not unwilling to make changes, like with the URL construct, which is also very cool. And I hope that more stuff kind of comes along there. I like that an Act maintainer is also working on this. It means that support is only going to get better, especially when it comes to debugging actions and stuff like that. I think that's going to provide paramount, better developer experience than what we have to date. And this is all very, very exciting. But you are on the TOC. You're close to it. Oh, damn it. Computer hates me. All right, I'm just going to talk for a second and then I'll fix this.
That's quite all right.
You're on the TOC and you're close to the project. So why don't you tell me what's coming on next? What you just want to change? What are people asking for? What is the future of Gitea Actions?
Yeah, definitely. The short-term roadmap is increase that compatibility with GitHub Actions, that the on workflow dispatch step that you brought up, the composite action support. So they're not widely used, but they're used enough that it should be supported. As well as creating different types of runners. So right now, there's the two modes. There's the running in Docker container or running in host mode. But as we've seen from like other projects of like CRCI, they have their tart.dev project where you can actually run like macOS virtual machines as like Docker containers, kind of, somewhat. being able to just support various different backends. So like ephemeral Windows images as well for your Windows developers, building those .NET projects, iOS devs, and just bringing the project forward that way. And yeah.
All right. And what about the Gitea project beyond Actions? Like, do you have a roadmap of other new things that are going to be coming to the table in the short to mid?
So this upcoming release, we're working on stability, and so it's not a big feature release. It's just a lot of refactoring. There's plenty of features coming in. We're at a few hundred pull requests already for it, so it's not insignificant. But that's always with every big thing. You need to go back, ensure stability of the project, as well as we're working forward towards a long-term support version. So understanding that not everyone is able to upgrade to the latest and greatest, but still need to have those bug fixes, security fixes as well, and just create that reliable and understandable upgrade cadence. So they stay on an LTS for a year. They're able to keep those small updates, and then if then in their upgrade cycle, if they're able to like evaluate like potential break-in changes, then they can do that with going to like the next version and whatnot.
All right, kind of tangential then, or adjacent to what we're talking about, not really directly, but I'm curious if you see people mirroring, like you said, you mirror all of the GitHub Actions stuff, right, to the Gitea.com.
A lot of it, not
a lot of it.
everything.
Sorry. Yeah, I should be careful with my wording there for sure. Do you see people doing that for a redundancy thing as well, like just pulling in their vendor dependencies from GitHub? I mean, let's face it, GitHub and GitLab, there's been a lot of downtime.
Entirely. Actually, on my NAS at home, I have my own instance, and it's mirroring a few thousand repositories. Because just like if my internet goes down, if GitHub goes down, GitLab goes down, what have you, it's all there. Or repository is deleted, you have the famous left pad incident. Yep. And so even though like with Go modules, Google has their package mirror. It's available. So if things do go away, it's still kind of available, but that cache is purged on whatever basis. So it's just having a copy of your code is integral, especially if you're in an enterprise building like whatever project, and like just having a copy for insurance sake is incredibly important.
Awesome. All right. Is there anything else you want to cover before we wrap this thing up?
No, I think, there's no big showstoppers with Gitea Actions setting up, which is always exciting. Same as our last live stream, living up to that painless tagline. And thanks again for having me on. It was great to see you again. And
Awesome.
Thanks.
All right. Well, a couple of things, and then we'll say goodbye. One, your green screen setup is awesome. Like that, there's very little artifacts around your face and shoulders. I'm really impressed. I'm going to ask you about that later. And the second one is just like Gitea is such a cool project. There's a lot of things we take for granted as developers and operators. Access to GitHub.com and GitLab and stuff like that. But there needs to be a better decentralized model moving forward. I think it's going to be so important. And the fact, Gitea, it's not shiny and exciting. It's essential. It's plumbing. It's foundational, right, to what we need for our developer teams and organizations. So, thank you to you and everyone else working on the Gitea project, all the contributors. It's always exciting to see the updates, and thank you for taking time to join me today.
No, of course. Thank you for having me.
All right. Thank you all for watching. Have a wonderful day. We'll be back again on Friday with another episode of Rocket Live. Matty, thank you again. I'll speak to you soon. And everyone, have a great day.
Thanks. Bye.